And showtime, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the latest episode of the ChannelPro 5-Minute Roundup. A look at news, trends, and tips for the SMB channel in 5 minutes or thereabouts. My name is Rich Freeman. I am executive editor of the ChannelPro Network and one of your hosts on this program. I am seated side by side this week here in sunny Miami, Florida, with my co-host Eric Simpson, a business transformation and improvement consultant for MSPs and other IT providers. Eric, tell folks why we're here.
We're here in Florida and Miami at the inaugural Acronis Cybersecurity Summit, folks.
Right, and that is directly tied to our top story of the week, in fact, which is all about why they are holding this summit event and the main news story that came out of this show, basically. So we've been talking in ChannelPro on the website. It's probably come up on this program before that for the better part of this year, Acronis has been hinting essentially that at this show that they had planned for October, they were going to be introducing an entirely new set of products that are designed basically to get them beyond their legacy as a backup company into this new field that they're calling cyber protection. And it's not an idea that they invented exactly. There are other companies like the Carbonite, for example, which bought Webroot earlier this year specifically to pursue the same strategy. But the idea is you combine backup and security in one package. A complete data protection strategy requires both of those technologies. And so here at the show this week, Acronis officially pulled the curtains and unveiled their new cyber protection product family. It consists of a security solution called Cyber Protect, which has a range, I think it's 7 different kinds of security functionality built into it. It runs on or alongside a hyper-converged infrastructure solution called Acronis Cyber Infrastructure. It comes complete with software-defined networking, software-defined storage. It's basically designed to serve as a storage target for backups and a recovery environment for backups. You can run it on an appliance that Acronis itself makes. You can run it on a server of your own. And then both of those technologies run on top of the Acronis Cyber Platform, which is the foundational set of underlying technologies that make the whole thing work. But significantly, the Cyber Platform comes with APIs and SDKs that third-party developers can use to integrate their solutions with the Acronis solutions. So it's a very ambitious initiative on the part of Acronis. It's a surprisingly dense and complete set of products. I've really only scratched the surface at the amount of functionality that they've built into these products. Acronis has apparently been pursuing this strategy, even though we've really only been talking about it for less than a year at ChannelPro. This vision was in place since early 2014, and they've been headed down that road ever since then. Took a long time to unify the back-end code bases that create the cyber platform and write all this new functionality. But a big milestone for them this week to launch that. And now the question is just, do MSPs gravitate towards this product set? And I'll just say quickly, I asked Sergey Velertsov, the CEO of the company, how does he think about positioning these products alongside or versus some of these managed services suites from companies like Datto and Kaseya and SolarWinds that include BDR and security quite often alongside RMM and PSA. You kind of get the convenience of one-stop shopping with those suites. Are people going to use your technology instead? And basically said, there are billions of workloads to protect out there. There's plenty of business to go around for everyone, and they stand by the quality of their products. So they feel like they can compete with the managed services suite companies.
Yeah, I've got to say, Rich, I was quite impressed at the architecture and the strategic vision of what they've put together here. And the point that I took away that I thought was a unique differentiator was the fact that they, made sure to reinforce that this is purpose built from the ground up to be secure first. And I think the analogy that Sergey made from the stage in one of his keynotes was all these other companies are being acquired, and they're trying to acquire all of this functionality and this technology and cobble it together. My words, not his. Whereas this is purpose built to be tightly integrated, tightly secure from from end to end for an entire data protection suite of services. And of course, they've even allowed the ability for the backups to be stored on multiple different clouds. So if it's not in the Acronis cloud, it can be in your private or public cloud. It can be on AWS. It can be on Azure. So I think it's a really strategic kind of a long game vision, and I was pretty impressed about it.
Yeah, no, I mean it's definitely a mature vision, and it's a surprisingly mature product for something that is really just barely out of the gate right now. So, but time will tell whether it appeals to MSPs and whether it lives up to that vision, which is a compelling one. So we learned a ton about Acronis and where it's headed this week at the show, Eric, but in talking with MSPs, you learned something as well that you want to talk about.
Yes, so the tip of the week this week, Rich, is all about, I would like viewers that are trying to grow their businesses and maybe even, into dreams of hypergrowth and acceleration, to take the same care and strategic positioning on giving their teams sales training as well as the technical training that we by default we give to all of our technicians and engineers. There has to be that same level of awareness and need to grow these businesses. And I say that because I did a couple of sessions here this week. One was building a cloud practice, and one was how to build out a cybersecurity practice. And both of those are heavily dependent on following, a sales process and every step within the sales process and how to qualify and how to overcome objections. And I was really surprised at the number of attendees that came up to me after both of those sessions and were just, eager and hungry for more information about sales training and getting sales training. We've never had sales training, and let's be honest, Rich. The concepts that I presented in a 50-minute session were very high level. So it really, made me think about the importance of providing these types of tools and opportunities to the sales team. Think about it this way. I mean, if we're not training our sales teams the way we're training our technicians and engineers to support our services and deploy our services, then really we're just hoping that the sales team, has good luck going out there and closing these opportunities. And I've seen a dramatic increases in closing ratios, just, delivering 30 days worth of sales training, or just sending someone to some online training and then doing role playing and things like that. So I think sometimes we forget, and I think that technicians and engineers in general, Rich, because we're the dragon slayers. We can architect anything and we can fix anything. We think, oh, we can do sales too. Well, it's a completely different approach and a completely set of techniques and tactics and tools that are required. So folks, if you're not putting anyone in your organization that touches the sales process through some sort of sales training, at least, get some sales training books, look at the top 10 best sales books, of the last couple of years, and start, just start there, but start today.
It seems so straightforward. I mean, so many owners of managed services businesses, reseller businesses, are technical people first. They've, learned how to sell because they had to, that, as an entrepreneur, basically. So they understand from their own experience that it takes learning and education and training to become a salesperson. But I can easily imagine how there is an assumption that if I hire a professional salesperson, they already know what they need to know. And so, in the technical world, new technologies come along, you've got to train your technicians, but the sales guy already knows how to sell. What role could training possibly play in that person's professional development? And it's a very, very, similar story in terms of there are always new skills to acquire and polish and expand. And yeah, by all means, you really should be helping anyone in any role within the company improve their knowledge and capabilities.
And if you ever have someone that, is in your team that says, oh, I don't need sales training, I'm good, find another sales professional.
Yeah.
I've had several over the years of training sales teams, several of the sales members say that they don't need any more. So why am I sitting through this sales training? Well, you just the things that we forget just having a refresher and having a closed mind to improving yourself. Guess what? I mean, that's not how we grow personally and professionally, and certainly not doing your organization any favors by not trying to improve constantly every day. So again, start today. Take the first step.
Well, we have got time for just one more story this week, and it concerns a very expensive automobile. We're here actually at a very nice hotel, a lot of expensive cars here. All the vehicles from Tesla, which are just really interesting and exciting vehicles. That they're not cheap though. And I have a friend actually who owns not one but two of them. He's a surgeon. He's done very well for himself, and he often describes those cars as a laptop on wheels. And I'm sure he picked up that technology from his Tesla dealer. Well, it turns out that might be more true than he realized, actually, based on a story in the news this week. The reason it's a laptop with wheels is because Tesla sends out updates to the software that runs the car over the air and downloads it into the car's firmware. There's a flash memory device apparently that receives those updates. And Eric, what do we know about flash memory devices that get written to a lot?
They get full and they get hot and then they fail.
And gosh darn it, that's happening to the flash memory devices in Teslas right now. They're learning a little bit of a lesson about flash memory over at Tesla and dealing with that now. So yeah, flash memory failures in these $80,000 cars, and it's a problem for the drivers. But I'm sure they will get that figured out, and it will be a much more reliable laptop on wheels going forward. Well, that is all the time that we've got this week on the 5-Minute Roundup. Thank you so much, folks, for joining us here. If you like the program, you'd like to keep up on future episodes, maybe take a look at some older ones that you've missed, easiest thing to do is look for the ChannelPro Network channel on YouTube and subscribe to that. Make sure you click the little bell there if you want to get notifications about the availability of new episodes. I've got a bunch of stories about the Acronis event up on the ChannelProNetwork.com website right now, but we've also got all sorts of other great content for you there going up every day. If you want to learn about Eric and the work that he does with his clients, the place to go is ErickSimpson.com. That is ERICK Simpson.com. So we will join you again next week with another episode of the show. We will be in different locations then, although we just realized we're going to be doing a lot of shows together in the weeks coming up, a lot of travel ahead of both of us. Until next week, though, please enjoy the rest of your week. Eric and I are enjoying the rest of your week already.